A little bit of something to get you ready for college football. I don't know why I love this fight song so much, but I do. I haven't done one of these in a while. Just whetting your appetite for week 0 college football this weekend. I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in. Putting the message out to a few people. See who will come in. You know, I actually had someone tell me to quit doing these. And according to this person's reasoning, it'll never pan out. How do I know if it'll never pan out if I don't at least try? I've had some success before, and who's to say it won't happen again? And you know, it gets on my nerve when people, it gets on my nerve when people who think they know you and think they know what you need try to tell you as such. And I'm tired of it. It's happened to me too many doggone times. Too many times to admit. And I know I said I'd talk Genie busting the Lakers, and I plan to. But I want to get a few things off my chest first. It's like I'm gonna find a little funk here because I'm going to get funky here. Because, like I said, you know what really gets on my nerve is when folk try to tell you how you should handle situations, or they say something to the tune of, and I got this comment recently. Someone said to me, quote, "I love you, but you need to quit. You need to quit asking people for money. They're getting a little tired of your scheme." Or it says something to the point of they say something like, "We love you, but you need to quit asking for money." What the hell else is a disabled man supposed to do? And I've decided that I'm sick and tired of people trying to tell me what to do to help out my family. I've decided that I'm tired of other people trying to tell me what beat to march to. So I'm not marching to that anymore. I know I've said it before, but I've always fallen back in line when the success isn't immediate. And I know I'm using YouTube right now, but I gotta say this. You know what really, really blows is when someone backdoors their way onto YouTube, starts talking about some stupid drama, and the next thing you know, they're getting all the support because they're feeding into the drama. They're feeding into everything. Is this a complaint? Yeah, it is, because I'm sick and tired of seeing channels pop up, of seeing people pop up, and they just out of nowhere grow overnight. Meanwhile, you got people like me and Cole Johnson and a few others that bust our ass. That bust our ass to try to get some traction. Keyword being try. And nothing, or hardly anything. I can't complain too much because I've beaten the plateau where I was at before. I plateaued with my first channel at 300 subscribers, and now I'm over it. I'm over that threshold. A couple other things. It's nerve wracking, absolutely nerve wracking. And I know I'm going to say this about 100 times over, but it needs to be said. When you do your best, when you're building, I'll use me an example. When you're building a radio show or a show on YouTube that's picked up by BS3 Network, thank you guys. And yeah, when it comes to YouTube, you can't get that much traction. It just begs the question for me: am I doing something wrong? And the other thing that gets on my nerve is when people all at once, or is when people that show up out of nowhere, I beg your pardon, want to offer to promote your channel, but then they charge an incessant amount of money to do it. And you just sit there and go, really? And then when you tell them no, they keep begging you and begging you and begging you to promote your channel. I can give you promotion. Just give me an assignment. Well, you had your assignment and you blew it. I don't believe most of those people anyway. For the simplest of reasons, if you really wanted to push your services, you'd offer a free trial that's respectable to both parties. You'd offer terms that were respectable to both parties, but they don't. I had a supposed promoter approach me via direct message today saying that, oh, first of all, asking me if I have a YouTube channel or a an Apple Podcast link. I told him, yeah, I do, but I'm not going to give it to you. And they're going, why? Don't you trust me? Hell no, I don't trust you. You're trying to earn money. I'm trying to earn money. Only I'm trying to do it authentically. You're not. You're charging an incessant amount of money for a number that is so damn small that it won't even push the needle. It won't even push the damn needle. I mean, how the hell are we supposed to, how the hell do we trust your services when you can't prove what you do? I mean, they offer I know part of this is because I'm very tired. I've had a long day, busy day. But still, you're trying to make it and they don't help you. The folks that say, and here's another thing that gets on my nerve. You have people that say they back you and say that they'll be there for you. And yet when it's time for them to be there, when you ask them for help, they're nowhere around. So you know what I decided for those people? I cut them loose. I cut them loose. And yeah, it may be petty according to a lot of people. But if you're not going to be for me, then I figure you're against me. And if you're against me, I got no business talking to you. End of story. And I've said this, and I will continue to say this so many times over. Sometimes you just get tired. And I am quite tired. Dr. Faulkner in the building. And Charles, I may just send you the link if you come up with me. Sometimes you just get tired. You get very, very tired. You get tired of the bullshit. You get tired of people trying to tell you this will happen if you work it this way. It'll work if it happens that way. How the hell do you know? How the hell do you know what works for a person? Mr. Faulkner, I'm gonna need your help. So if you want to come up, go ahead and pop in. This is one thing I'm working on with the morning show. When you've gone through what I've gone through in the past year, with the health problems I am recovering from, everything from type 2 diabetes to blood clots in both my lungs to pancreatic cancer. And yet you still have people that supposedly are close to you trying to tell you how to live your life and survive. There's one thing to give advice, and I know that. I know that. But there are times when the advice becomes damn invasive. I mean, when it becomes invasive to the point, when it becomes, that's the only word I can think of right now. When it becomes invasive to the point where you can't even think for yourself, that's a problem. It's a problem I've had to fight for a long, long time. Hey, what's up, Panthro?
What's up, man?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Chilling, chilling. Been a little busy,
Understood.
little trying to get the motivation back together. Going through this instructor school, trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents.
Boy, I know that quite well. I scheduled myself to talk sports tonight, but I'm going to talk real like you do, like BGS does, like most of the folks whose panels I've hung out with and on. And I've said this so many times over, and I know you've heard me say it. There are times where you just get tired.
Oh, ridiculously tired. It's. There's some days I don't even want to get off on the bed. There's some days I'm in such pain,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't understand what it means to be in that type of pain.
No, they don't. A
And people,
place of pain or a place of exhaustion. And being exhausted some days, and you know this very well, is not fun at all. It's just not fun.
and it's not fun. It's ridiculous. It's that when you're trying to accomplish it, it's like, damn. You know, a lot of people don't. A lot of you notice very quickly. A lot of people don't have your back.
Boy, ain't that the truth. We've been real about that with each other since we first hooked up and got on the air together 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 7 years ago. And the stupid thing is, you have people tell you, "Hey, look, I got your back. I'll jump on. I'll support you." And yet, when it's time to ante up, let me say it real. When it's time to ante up, you hear nothing but crickets.
Yeah.
You hear nothing. You hear nothing but crickets. I mean, I've been a fan of yours since you came onto YouTube, and I've always listened to your content, and I've always jumped on your panel, and the things you say have been very real. So tonight, I decided to take a lesson, and I'm going to be very real. I haven't had that much, except from you and the OGs. I haven't had that much support from my channel since I started the doggone thing, which is sad because since YouTube has become more restrictive,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get a backing.
It's crazy because, you know, in our corner of YouTube, the Black Manosphere, if I could talk very candidly,
Go ahead, man. Go
a
ahead.
lot of times, we're told that we are incels, we're people who don't understand relationships, even though majority of the people in the Black Manosphere are married or have deep, fulfilling relationships.
Yes.
We're, we get plotted as saying, "Oh, we have this, we want to hurt women." No,
No, we don't.
we're trying to educate women, and we're telling them you're going to lose your men if you don't change your behavior.
You said the key word because I cannot tell you how many times a woman, be it of color or not, has looked me in the face and said, "You're going to lose me, and I don't look that bad." And I tell him, "It ain't your looks, it's your behavior that's driving me away."
Yeah, and it's sad because, like, I've actually told people, I said, when I'm talking about, how to build a better black man, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get too much support. But if I'm going back and forth with some broad on the internet, I'll get 100 to 200 viewers. Sometimes I gotta be damn near mad, and when I'm teaching,
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand nor capture the essence and
They
the support.
don't. They don't, man. And I've hopped on with you when I was in the hospital after surgery and dealing with stuff, with my body, the problems I've had, and I've made no bones about it. I've had problems with diarrhea. I've had problems with vomiting. And yet, whenever you come on, I'm right there. And you're right. When you try to teach them according to I'm going to get real. According to most black women, you're bashing them when you're trying to teach them. Can I get a witness?
Amen. I mean, I, I tell you, man, it's really getting forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
It's forgettable,
It
and
is. It is.
it's disgusting.
Very much disgusting.
It's
It's
disgusting.
it's very much disgusting. The other disgusting thing I've had to go through for almost 4 years is the side eye that I get from people when they see my wife and I out and about. I don't have to explain that one to you. It's like they look at Jody and they look at me, and the black women will look at me and go, "Ugh, you chose her. Corrección, señorita. She chose my ass." And when you explain that to them, you hear nothing but crickets. I'm like, it's not only the fact that that I chose her, she chose me. I don't see a problem with that. Do you? That's the biggest thing.
Funniest of it all is that you're checking for me, and I'm so called the guy you really don't want to be with.
Oh,
Then
preach.
what the hell are you paying attention for? Why can't
Exactly.
I be happy? You know what? Let's be blunt. Why can't a black man be goddamn happy? I can't.
Because they don't want a black man to be goddamn happy. My
Why
buddy
can't a
Vic-
black
my
man just
buddy
be
Victor
happy?
from my buddy Victor from Chicago, one of my best friend for 22 years, says sadly the crab in the bucket syndrome is real.
And it's true. It's
Hmm.
very true because you know, and it's crippling.
It's very crippling. It's been crippling for the longest time. I know it's been crippling for as long as my ass has been alive. And I just celebrated number 50. It's been crippling. And it gets worse.
It's terrible.
It is. I remember the cartoon The Mask and a line in one of the intros that said, "Babe, when they made me, they broke the mold." Oh, I know they broke the mold when they made you, and I know for a fact they broke the mold when they made me.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I talk about this beforehand about the lack of black male appreciation, the
Oh,
lack
preach that. Preach that.
the lack of being, just being a great human being,
Mm-hmm.
being appreciated, being loved, being catered, being being told that hey, you're worth something.
Being told that you matter. Being
Mhm.
told that you fucking matter.
And it boils down into it really boils down to what's next. What's next?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into the situations where plenty of women found me attractive, but they still wanted to date who they wanted to date when they became older. Let the attraction tamp down some. They
Mm-hmm.
had kids. That's when they want to come back. And I'm like, you made the decision, stay there.
There's a channel I'm hooked on now called Accountable Commentary, and he had the perfect term when he said the reach back is real. I mean, these women want to raise hell all their lives. They walk past you, a black nerd, by the way, folks, and there
Mhm.
are a few of us.
Quite a few.
There are quite a few of us, but they walk past us. Hell, they did that to me for 4 years in high school in Chicago. I got ridiculed about being a nerd, about being anything associated with a nerd. I've been called a nerd, I've been called a brainiac, and I don't care. I
It's,
didn't
it's
care
kind of funny.
then, and I don't care now.
It's kind of funny how in our culture we criticize the intelligence.
Yes.
We criticize the people that are going to move the world. It's shameful, man. It is downright shameful.
They criticize the intelligence, but don't criticize the ignorance.
Of course not.
They don't criticize the ignorance. I mean, you've been on the morning show with me. I mean, you've
Yeah,
heard how I speak. We've been friends for 7 years.
yeah.
You think I still you think I've stopped getting shit for the way that I speak? Because I actually know what the hell I'm talking about and how to talk.
Same here, buddy.
I know it, man. I enjoyed your content from BlurredCon, and it just popped in my head like, you know what? Jody and I are going to pull up in a Suburban. I'm going to have one of my best suits, and we're going to do the Price is Right thing with Jody handing me the microphone.
Hell yeah.
Why can't that happen?
It should happen.
It will happen. I mean, my late mother, used to ask me all the time, why don't you like black play by play announcers? Because as you know, my favorite of all time is Jim Durham, who voiced the Chicago Bulls for many years. And the first time my mother asked me that question, I got a little offended. And the biggest reason I got offended, I didn't have an answer. I didn't realize that was my answer. There weren't very many of them. Until Greg Gumbel showed up, until Paul Olden showed up, and one of my favorites right now, Robert Ford, voice of the Astros. And I've had Robert Ford and Paul Olden on my program. But to tie this into a neat little bowl that you speak of, that I speak of, and it's in the form of a perfect question that Victor put in the chat here just a moment ago. Charles, how many times have we heard, quote, why you be talking white, close quote? Any black man,
God knows.
Victor, I know you're one of them. Any black man that has heard that because you were actually taught the correct version of English, not Ebonics.
Yeah. I mean, you speak the King's English and
Yep.
you're crucified for it. What's the point?
Yeah.
It gets very heartbreaking that you can't have intelligent conversations with people anymore.
Can you say that again, please, for those of us in the cheap seats at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore? Can you say that again, please?
It gets so hard to have intelligent conversations with people anymore.
I mean, you were taught to speak the King's English. I mean, that was the language you were taught growing up as a kid and all the way through school, and yet you use it in its proper context and you're looked at funny.
Yeah. And it's funny because in the black community, you wonder why the men don't come back. The men go elsewhere. The men want to say, you got to realize why a lot of people who are going to be highly intelligent young black men look at our community and say these words: why should I go back to the pits of hell? And then they're going to say, you know what? For the ones who choose to, they're going to be the ones that actually rescue some young black males from a life of monotony, violence, or crime. Because we don't get any, and this is the part. I know that you have a mixed audience, but this is going to be a very candid conversation between you and me.
Go for it.
And a lot of people don't understand. We're not celebrated too well in our community.
No, we're not.
Think about it. If I was a white guy with the background I had, I would be a god.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a god. I would not even be a mere mortal.
No, you wouldn't.
My security firm would need no advertisement. I would be just like, hey, there's Charles. That's the war hero. That's the veteran police officer, the wrestling coach, the wrestling champion.
Mm-hmm. I sure as hell wouldn't need to break my back looking for sponsors. Oh. If I was white and if I was as celebrated as a Jim Durham or a Johnny Kerr or a Wayne Larrivee or anybody like that, my idols, mind you, my fucking idols.
Yeah,
they'd see me, and I love the kids. The kids will come up to me. The kids will come to me. Hey, we remember you from the Marist Miracle, circa 2012. Well, thank you. And I've actually had kids ask me for my autograph. I'm like, okay, thank you again. That's one of the few times I felt appreciated.
Yeah, it's crazy because when I tell people my background, and they're like, "Wow, we should have, we should have paid attention." Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a big uproar at Morgan State. Do you know who
Yes.
they brought back their wrestling team? You know who's their head coach now?
Who's their head coach now?
The first black man to win an Olympic gold medal in freestyle wrestling, Kenny Monday.
Mm.
There should be an uproar. How many? Yeah, you see a lot of guys with NBA and NFL championships, but how many people you see with Olympic gold medals? Period. Let
Yes.
alone there's only four black men and one black woman to ever accomplish this feat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He almost accomplished it again when he got a silver the next Olympics,
Yes.
92 Olympics. So you're telling me with a guy who has two sons in NCAA college right now,
Mm-hmm.
a guy who has that wealth of international, national, and local experience.
Yep.
There in 5 years, Morgan State should be a powerhouse goddamn team. They
Yes.
should make all the Iowa State, University of Iowa, Ohio State,
They
you
should
know,
dwarf Dan Gable's
Oklahoma,
accomplishments.
Oklahoma, and think about it. Most black people, most black boys have to go out of state if they're half decent as a wrestler or great as a wrestler just to continue their education and their sport.
Yes.
Outside of
Yes.
there, you
Yes.
literally do
Yes.
the same thing when it comes to academia. You
Mm-hmm.
let all of your most intelligent, your most talented people go elsewhere.
You
Why
know,
can't I be celebrated?
my mother tried to convince me to stay in Chicago for college.
Hmm.
Why don't you go to Circle? Why don't you go to UIC? Because I wanted to get the hell out. And to my mother's fear, I would be integrated. And she actually said that. I'm like, I got news for you, Ma. I was integrated a long time ago when I started watching Joker's Wild, Price is Right, listening to Jim Durham call Bulls games, listening to Wayne Larrabee call Bears games. You're a little late. Integration wasn't just physical. This is what a lot of people don't get. Integration was just not physical. Integration was societal. Can I use that word and piss
Yeah,
people off?
yeah. You got to realize something. It's BGF. Shout out to the master teacher.
Yes, sir.
Stated integration was survival. Okay, integration was survival.
Mm-hmm.
Integration. We did well being by ourselves. You got to think about it. When we integrated, a lot of black children at that time were going into the belly of the beast.
Yep.
It wasn't about black men trying to be closer to white women.
Nope.
Hell, black women have more access to black men than we ever have, even to this day, to white women.
Even to this day, even
And
to present current day.
exactly, it was about survival because either we were gonna be like, shout out to the master teacher again. It was either we were gonna be genocide, and they weren't trying to go that route because we just got finished defeating the Nazis.
Yep. We just got done kicking their ass.
Deportation. You can't deport black Americans because they have a bigger stake in this country more than most white Americans.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
the last part is integration.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand that integration was not easy.
No, it wasn't.
The Monahan report. did
Oh,
not talk about
one of my
either.
favorite readings.
And it's funny because you know when I had that one chick up there, well, black men don't want to be in relationships. I said that's a
Oh,
lie.
I remember that.
Why that was a classic. Why do we have six? We literally have 600 to 700,000 more marriages than black women, but you
Hmm.
outnumber us by 2 million.
Especially when it comes to baby mamahood.
You chose this, and it's like
They,
for
t-
black men,
they took
black,
the government's scraps and handouts and ran us off.
and it's like I tell a lot of these black guys when they want to debate me. I said, look, at the end of the day, I have no hatred. I'm disappointed.
Exactly.
I'm disappointed. There's one chick who was like, "Who hurt you?" And I looked her in the eye. And I was like, "You,
Hmm.
you, you're
I
the
love
one
when
that betrayed the family."
I love when black women try to shame me by saying who hurt me. Like who hurt you? What Kevin Samuels moniker? Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right.
You got that from the master teacher as well,
You think
and
he was
it's
on
fun.
target with that?
I mean, he was bullseye. I mean, he keyholed it. He put it through the same hole twice, but when he double tapped, and ultimately, you got to remember, it's like when Black America at the time from 1890 to 1980, we were at the lowest 80% married and the highest 90.
Yep.
Think about it. But as soon as you were able to
Hmm.
fully integrate into the system and take upon the scraps and the snacks from the government, you vamoosed. You wanted the freedom
You
to
got the
lead
hell out.
your family.
They got the hell out. They pushed us out. The only difference is we stayed out.
Yeah. And then
That's the
you want
that's
us
the
to come
difference.
back.
We stayed out.
And here's the craziness. You want us to come back once you destroyed everything.
Once they blew it all to smithereens
And then what's going to happen? Once we rebuild it, you're going to come back and say, hey, we don't need you again.
and run us off again. Victor, you've seen the projects in Chicago. Do I need to explain that? Who do you think put those projects together? Who do you think helped build and house them?
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look to yourself and say, hey, life is needed.
Yeah, I can honestly say for the first time in a long time, in terms of a relationship, I am fucking happy. I am fucking happy. I've said it on your channel, I've said it on BGS's channel, and I'll say it and scream it to the heavens. When I met Jody, she saved my life because this black man was done, beyond done. It was like, what the hell am I doing this for? And it's like, as soon as I spoke that in July of 2018, Jody reached down and pulled me up from the depths of hell. And now you got black women all over the place giving not only her the side eye, but me the side eye. If I may quote the one and only Samuel L. Jackson, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. What's up, Free Will Defender? Thanks for joining. Folks, if you can, please support my mission to help my family via Cash App. The tag is right there. Need the $ Tall Man Dr. K50. Oh man, Charles in charge.
Woo.
Maybe the champs are here.
It's funny because shout out to Free Will. And it's funny because as I'm sitting here in my truck looking at the night sky, and I can still see the clouds in the air.
Yep.
Still see the clouds. They look so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm damn near about to light a match and smoke a cigar. but I might just save that shit for Saturday. But
I will join you on Saturday if you'll allow me.
oh yeah, and it's funny, right? Because every goddamn time,
Preach it.
a black man wants to get ahead, he's usually not thinking about himself.
It's not.
He's usually thinking about who can he bring with him,
Mm-hmm.
family, friends, community, state, country. But on his journey of being great, how much support does he get?
I can answer that one. I know you can answer that one personally, and I'll answer it personally. Not a piece. Not a piece.
Not a damn thing. Think
And,
about
and
it.
I will repeat something I said at the top of the broadcast. How many black men come on to YouTube with actually a subject they want to talk about, like, oh, I don't know, maybe sports,
Hmm.
and they
Shout
get
out to you for the sports. Shout out to
thank you.
Artisan MC about the comics. Shout out to myself and Art a bit more talking about comics, video games,
Oh
anime,
yeah, oh
and
yeah,
think about it. What about the episodes when when I'm talking about military science and law enforcement procedures and policies?
yes,
You got angry man who could talk about relationships, anime, style. You have Hallowed Be Thy Name,
mm-hmm,
Kevin Samuels who was talking about style and fashion. You
yep,
have Gigi who has a PhD in philosophy. Dr. Tiason Johnson who has a PhD in cultural studies.
absolutely.
Dr. Ronald Neal who has a PhD in theological studies.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Dunbar who has a PhD in pharmacology. You have Doctor, but don't call me Doctor, Nicole Ali, who has a PhD in biochemistry. I mean, you have so many people, so many walks of life. And are you fulfilling those people? Are you
no,
receptive to the message those people are giving?
no,
Even when you're doing sports and how you could just crack out stats, which is a very hard thing for most people to do,
mm-hmm.
and events and have really fulfilling information. Because guess what? How many black men do you hear on open air talking about sports like this?
You don't. And how many black men chose the independent route instead of being paid dirty money by ESPN, CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports?
And they're heavily censored. And I want you to highlight what your boy said. What is it, a Vlok or a block?
Victor Locke.
Um,
Victor
Victor
Locke.
Locke. Yeah. It's nowadays people are more celebrate. Excuse me.
Someone
Nowadays, more people celebrate someone getting
getting
out of
out of
jail
jail.
rather than someone graduating college. I swear to God, man.
That's been the
That
last
is-
30 that has been true the last 30 years, and it's really been true the last decade.
I'll tell you what. There's guys I knew who graduated college,
Mm-hmm.
graduated the police academy, came home from wars, both wars, Afghanistan and Iraq,
Yes.
and people barely even said, "Thank you for your service, congratulations." But had a motherfucker come from jail, man. He's getting the whole block shut down. They raising money. They
They
getting him back on his feet. They giving him a car, giving him new clothes, give him
everything.
everything. The
For
chicks
getting the
are
fuck out of
ready to.
for getting the fuck out of jail for a crime that 90%, 99% of the time he what's the word I'm looking for? Committed.
Yeah, and was convicted.
And
Not
was
just
convicted by a jury of his peers. Isn't that how the rule goes?
that's how the rules go. That's how the law goes. And let's say we maximize the mediocrity. We
Oh,
we wallow in obsolescence.
yes.
We make a Herculean task out of being functional.
Mm-hmm.
Something. we'll look for the hardest way to even breathe oxygen. We'll
Yep.
try to breathe oxygen from the goddamn soles of our feet instead of
Yes.
through your nostrils or through your mouth. And we don't want the simplistic. We don't. It's like that one scene in what is it? Scandal, when she was supposed to, when the black senator wanted to be engaged to, where she said, "I don't loving
Yeah.
you will be easy. I don't want easy love. I want hard love."
I remember that
And I'm just like, you
because
know what?
because Tommy
Go ahead.
Sotomayor highlighted that clip
Yeah.
and broke it down.
And I said, you know what? When I saw that shit, I was like, you know what? That's quintessentially the relationship between black men and black women.
That's it. That's
And
it.
and and it's the relationship we have with each other with black men. We don't
Mhm.
want to have a good, easy time enjoying each other. We got to make it hard.
We got to, and that's sad.
It's difficult.
It's
There's
very, it's very difficult.
plenty of times brothers damn near about to cry. And think about it. We're about to cry because the world doesn't accept us as us.
They really don't. The world, I don't think the world has ever accepted us as us. The world is, I'll use one of your words. The world has never accepted multifaceted black men. Period.
Can't do that now. Can't do that.
Can't do that. I mean, you're talking to a guy who kicked blood clots and pancreatic cancer in the ass and who has gotten into CFL football, and I'm still getting the damn side eye. I've had someone tell me on Facebook, which is why I don't post to Facebook anymore. I had someone tell me on Facebook, you ready for this? And I mentioned this at the top. I love you, buddy, but you need to stop asking people for money in these fundraising chats. They don't work. At that moment, I almost quit. At that moment, I almost quit. And then I went to sleep and I woke up the next day and I went, oh, hell no. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to take a little time, rethink some things, and I'm still going to do it. Because I know either tonight or tomorrow, it's going to bust wide open for us, for me and Charles, for us. That's why I'm keeping the NBA on CBS theme rolling. Everybody loves the theme from the NBA on NBC, but, and I'm using this as an example, everybody loves the shiny new thing, the NBA on NBC, but why don't y'all remember the NBA on CBS? Which is where the NBC theme actually came from.
That's like right.
Too much like right, exactly.
It's some difficulties. It's some grade A bullshit. It's we don't.
Homogenized bullshit.
Have you ever noticed that we don't value history anymore in our community?
Can you say that again, please?
I'm gonna say it for the Negroes in the back, throwing the paper airplanes, spitballs passing around notes that says, "Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe so."
And for those Negroes at the top of the old Baltimore arena.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't you love the history? You know, you don't even respect the old men who put themselves on the line for you.
Exactly.
You don't even respect
Oh,
the old men who knows how hard it is out there, and they're trying to keep the door open for you, but your asses are too stupid to realize all you got to do is walk through. It's it's like shout out to the ancestor Harriet Tubman
mm-hmm.
when she said, "I freed thousands of slaves. I would have freed thousands more if they knew they were slaves."
If they knew they were slaves, man, oh man.
And that's how I feel about this YouTube game some days. Like,
Same.
why can't I get at least 100 people? I'm not, and 100 people is an average amount. And just when I'm talking about, hey, get your sons into the military.
Yeah.
We need those skills. We need those educations. We need those benefits coming back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you train your goddamn kids, especially your boys, like they're going to be somebody else's husband and father?
Yes.
Your girls, like they're going to be somebody's wife and mother.
Mm-hmm.
But this free to do what you want bullshit has rotten this country and its people to the core.
Yes. It has blown the community to smithereens.
It's
It's like what
decimated.
Victor, it's like what Victor just said. Too easy for some. They needed to be frustratingly hard.
And see,
That's
that's
what
the
we talked about from
shit that
Scandal.
gets me. That's the shit that gets me about it. It's like you get people that are like, "Hey, Wood Charles is having a view. I have a GoFundMe, to put myself and the young men who I'm recruiting through training.
Yes.
I'll start the business. Hey, if people love my idea, support. If you don't, don't." But I
Mm-hmm.
just had chicks that I knew in the manosphere for years post up my GoFundMe and then say, "Hey, we're the Six Figure Men at donating." I'm like, why don't you be the example and donate
And don't see you and
instead of
I are on
trying
that same. You and I are on that same platform because, as I have explained, and I know I'm going to make a plea on your channel tomorrow night.
to?
I've said it over and over again, and I will continue to say it. I need the help.
Yeah,
We're trying to get strong here. We're trying to get ourselves back together. Wife's working herself to the bone. I mean, she just put in a 13-hour day today.
mm,
She just put in a 13-hour day today. Meanwhile, you got people that pop up on YouTube, and it seems like overnight they're getting all the support. They're getting the all of a sudden they're getting the subscribers. They're getting the super chats unlocked, and it's like, what? Whatever happened to honesty in building something?
mm,
Whatever happened to doing something because you wanted to? Whatever happened to keeping the love alive for a dream that you've been chasing? I've been chasing this dream 28 years. As of this month, as of this 27 years. As of this month, this will be my 27th year. And I've missed the last 3, especially doing play by play because of illness, because of either COVID or personal illness.
yeah,
And people think, well, maybe your time has come for you to give it up. I had to sock you right in the throat for saying that to me. Because
yeah,
that's not what my dad taught me.
yeah. It's like, why don't you give me your strength? It's like Goku. Give me your strength. Give me your energy.
Please.
It's like Moses in the Bible when they said God blessed him with supernatural strength and vigor.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's what people should be doing. Bless
Well,
people, bless these content creators like the Snowman, like myself and others. And
yes.
give us your goddamn strength. Give
Like
us your support.
like BG,
Sometimes,
like BGS, like Artisan,
yeah,
like Art of It more. And I love
or
all those guys. I love all you guys.
yeah, like think about it. Just and it took me a while. Just your viewership and your likes will bring channels back to life.
Yes, they will. Yes.
And a lot of this algorithm bullshit that YouTube fundamentally pulls can be reversed.
And a lot of this was and a lot of the content creators, a lot of the black male content creators that were getting some leeway because of these algorithms and these new rules, and because of the black women supporting all the drama channels, let's keep it 100, get chopped down.
Yeah. Like, think about it. There should be no reason channels who says, and I quote, abort black male babies should have 10,000 subscribers,
Can I
20,000.
get a witness?
There's no reason.
That bitch is back. That bitch is backwards to say the least. Abort black male babies just because a guy didn't like you because you were told no. That's a two-letter word that's not in the black woman's vocabulary, except when they're saying it.
Yeah. And what makes it interesting is that one time we used to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
One time we wanted women at the table. Now, it's becoming effective. This feminist ideology has affected the United States in such a way that
Yep.
it's destroyed the moral fabric of the country. I can respect anybody's sexuality, religion, race, creed,
Yes.
whatever, gender, but don't try to enforce it upon me.
I mean,
If you want to,
I got a rainbow family for God's sake, and I love them all.
yeah,
When I married Jody, I inherited a rainbow family, and I've met most of the kids she used to. I met the kids she used to foster. I've met Sonia. I've met Dakota. I love them all.
yeah,
I love them all. What's the
you know why? Because love and understanding does not sell.
Apparently it doesn't.
Love and
Apparently
understanding
it
it does
doesn't.
not sell.
And it's nerve wracking. It is absolutely freaking nerve wracking when a guy like me that's been pulled from the depths of hell, that was so close to ending his life. And I mean every word of that. He was so close to I was so close to ending my life in 2018. And Jody rode to the rescue. And when she looked at me and said, "Do you mind some of the people in my hell no?" I told her, "Hell no, I don't mind." And since then, I've become a father, I've become a grandfather, and I love everyone in this family. Why can't that be prevalent? Oh, I know the answer, and Charles said it earlier. Too much like right. Too much like right. And Victor, I love you for this statement. Those who can't do it tell others they can't do it so they don't feel alone. Crabs in a barrel like a motherfucker. Am I supposed to just like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor and Red Fox as comedians? Can I not like Louis Black and George Carlin and have a mix? It just can't be right, especially with black men. I'll say it again. It just can't be right, especially with black men, because black men have something we like to call a mind. And yet, every time we try to use said mind for some goddamn crazy reason, the ideas we come up with to grow get blocked. If I'm wrong anywhere in that statement, please tell me.
You're never wrong in that shit. It's fundamentally we're gonna have to be, each other's brother, champions and saviors. Trademark by yours truly.
My brother, my champion, my savior.
And that should be the title and the motto of the Manosphere.
Yes. In fact, every time I do one of these each week, that's going to be my that's going to be the running title.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for God's sakes, y'all. Charles's favorite professional wrestler is the legendary Ric Flair.
Woo!
Can't he like other races of wrestlers who had an influence on him? Just like I can like different races of broadcasters that have had an influence on me. And oh, by the way, to those people who doubt me, I met one of my influences in 2013, Wayne Larrivee, the current voice of the Green Bay Packers, who has been an idol for me and one of my influences since 1985.
Hey, if we could get you down in Baltimore to do some play-by-play for the Ravens, I would ever be so grateful.
I would love to, man. I would adore that opportunity. The three teams I would love to do play by play for: the Ravens, my wife's Colts, or my 49ers.
Trust me, that Ravens country, baby.
Oh, I
It's
know it.
it's funny because everybody who comes, you ever notice you never heard anybody when they joined the Ravens ever speak bad about the Ravens team? It's that
Exactly.
enjoyable.
No, you don't hear anybody speak bad about the Ravens team. I mean, why should they? I mean, it's a class organization.
Yeah, gives you back to like, it gives you some of that. What did they say? It's kind of like a throwback of old school football, Smash
It
Mouth.
is. It is. And that Smash Mouth football is one of the reasons when I did my predictions, and I will do it again tomorrow on Charles's channel. One of the reasons I picked the 49ers over the Rams to win the West. The Rams simply just don't run the football. Meanwhile, the 49ers quarterback situation may be in flux, but if there's one thing that's a common denominator between the 49ers in their heyday and the 49ers of today, they want to punch you in the mouth running the football. So it's time for black men to stand up and punch people in the mouth by chasing our dreams and catching them. What did Ed McMahon, what the late great Ed McMahon say? This is where we reach for the stars and catch them. Oh, Victor, I remember a quote from the old lady, from an old lady in the movie Dangerous Minds. Quote, I ain't raising no doctors or lawyers. They got bills today. Close quote. And my thought is, why don't you want to raise a doctor or a lawyer? I'm going to give Charles the floor on that one.
The reason why they don't is because one, too many mothers want their children to be subservient. If I teach you to be a man or give you to your fathers or put you around men, you're going to out process me. You got to remember, children, especially boys, become men who outgrow their mothers and equal their fathers.
Absolutely.
At some point, the mother has to listen to the son.
And
We're the ones we're the ones who are the new leaders. We got to take care of you. We have a culture of mediocrity,
oh, yes, Lord.
culture of pathetic.
A culture of backwards, a culture of subservience.
Think about it. Instead of just wishing people well to be better. What do we get?
The opposite. The opposite. You know what I got laughed at when I was applying for colleges in 1990? One of the schools I wanted to go to, but that I wound up covering later, Northwestern.
Hmm.
Why don't you go to Illinois or Northern Illinois? I want to be challenged. And when Northwestern won the Big Ten title in 1995, I became a fan forever. And oh, by the way, all you haters, one of my favorite announcers of all time has been a friend of mine for the 20 plus years I've been active as a broadcaster. His name is Dave Ennett, the current voice of the Northwestern Wildcats.
You can't be a man, especially a black man, in this day and time and have a dream, have a goal. Can't have that. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna raise warriors. I'm gonna raise kings,
Same.
whether biologically or
Or
whether or otherwise. I'm gonna beget greatness.
greatness begets greatness
Exactly.
all the damn time. In fact, I had an old coach who told me his son is now the voice for home games for Chesterton High School up in Northwest Indiana. And Coach Dowd said to me, I'm sure he would be thrilled if you were to give him a few pointers. I said, are you fucking kidding me? I'd love to coach the kid up. I've known Bryce since he was a baby. I'd love to coach him up. And when you offer that, you with wrestling, Victor and I with announcing, quite a few other, when you offer that as a black man, you're laughed at, and you get the. Can I go there? Can I go all the way there?
I mean, go far as the Marianas Trench.
Why is it that when you have a dream, the black women in our community want to chop it down?
Because you're not supposed to matter. You're not supposed to build, you're supposed to serve.
I missed this question from Victor, and you're going to love this one. Tell me why talk like this is so necessary, and yet those that look like us will call us coons, sellouts.
Oh, I could show you coons. That ain't us.
Same.
That ain't us. Coons will. I can show you a couple of coons on these YouTube pages.
Yeah, one of them's called Cynthia G. Can I get a witness?
Well.
One of them's called Amiri. Can I get another witness?
Well.
One of them's called Paris Milan. One of them's called Chrissy.
Whew. Let's talk about Brandon Tatum.
Brandon fucking Tatum, who don't know his balls from a hole in the ground. Oh, I forgot he doesn't have any balls, thanks to Charles. Because you dissected his and Amiri's comment, content, I should say, so well. All I did was sit back, put my headphones on, laugh, and take notes. And it makes me glad I'm doing what I'm doing correctly, which is speaking the damn truth.
There is no truth.
Now with that,
There's absolutely no truth.
Oh, dare we mention Derek fucking Jackson?
Oh God, that jackass.
That jackass. That
Mm.
jackass. All these YouTube jackasses that seem to have taken their content, somehow it doesn't get censored, somehow it doesn't get repealed, somehow it doesn't get mysteriously erased. Matter of fact, sometimes it gets doubled.
Mm.
Sometimes it gets more. Here we go. Here I go again. Here goes the snowman again. Sometimes it winds up in your suggestions and you don't want it in your suggestions. Excuse me. You're like, where the hell did this come from? I didn't put this here.
Exactly. But instead of fighting for better education, we just fight for be a better coon. Mm.
Then I'm a cooning motherfucker. Then if that's the case, because
Well,
I'm bent on speaking truth and light.
exactly. And trust me, a coon is somebody who speaks ill of their people for the wealth or the admiration of other races of people who
Yep.
betray people. You're not even a coon. Even being married to a woman of Caucasian descent does not make you a coon. Not even close.
Nowhere near close.
Because you, regardless of who you married, you still want to see the black society succeed.
Exactly.
Coons want to burn it straight to hell.
I'll borrow Stone Cold. They want to roll up into room 316 and burn that son of a bitch to the ground. They want to burn it to the ground. And the stupid thing is, they keep trying to burn it to the ground. I have been called coon because of my wife. So many goddamn times.
And that's just ignorant.
That's flat out ignorance. And again, I repeat Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Mm.
Again, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Everything has to be color coded in terms of your dream. You want to know what's crazy? I can tell you several game show hosts who were not black that had an influence on not just me, but many others. Jack Barry, Wink Martindale, Peter Marshall, the old Hollywood Squares, Peter Tamarkin from Pressure Luck. I don't even have to mention the king of the thing, Bob Barker.
Yeah.
I don't have to mention the king of the thing. I don't have to mention Gene Rayburn, who did Match Game for 9 years. Tom Kennedy, who did the original Name That Tune. Bill Cullen, the Jackknife game show host himself. I dare not mention, oh, you're going to love this name. I dare not mention the name Alex Trebek, a Canadian who kicked ass as a game show host and made Jeopardy his own for 35 years.
It's funny that I keep forgetting that he's Canadian
Mm-hmm.
and battled cancer till the bitter end.
To the bitter end. To the bitter end.
And that's the thing about being a man, being a man. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Men were made to fight to the bitter end.
They were made to fight until either the bitter end or they reach the finish line.
Oh, it's either come with your sword held in victory, or come in your shield that you gave your life for others. And see, that's the part when we talk about women and culture.
Mm-hmm.
with the boys that it was an honorable thing to defend people. They said,
Mhm.
go out there and be a man. I can't teach you anymore. They didn't have this I'm the mother and the father bullshit.
No, they didn't.
I had one kid on fucking Mother's or Father's Day try to argue me down. He was 19 at the time. My mother taught me how to be a man. I said, how does your mother teach you to be something she wasn't? Well, she was in the army. I said, you really think the women in the army do any of the heavy lifting in the army?
No, they didn't.
Man, they still don't.
And they never
And,
will.
yeah,
And they never will.
yeah,
As a man, you fight to the end. You either cross the finish line beaten, battered, bruised, and broken, but you got people behind you that followed you to that finish line, or they're carrying you across that bitch because you gave your all.
yeah,
I cannot tell you how many times, and the people who have watched my fight since I went under the knife in April know this. I cannot tell you how many times my wife has carried me through the day because I was so exhausted and so weak that I didn't feel like I could continue. And my wife looked me in the eye and said, "It feels like you're giving up." And then she coupled it with, "Don't you give up on me. I need you around." So I made some adjustments. I'm still making them. I'm still making adjustments, but I'm not finished. I'll be damned if I'm finished before I reach a goal with this initiative that I got going on. And the initiative, to the stupid bastard who told me to quit doing these fundraising chats, the initiative is to help my family as well as myself. Oh, I'm sorry. What did Charles say earlier in the night? That's too much like right. That a man would want to help his family. What's wrong with a man wanting to help his family when he's limited in how? How many times have we heard, Charles, black women say, "Well, I got to do what I got to do." Well, God damn it, I'm doing what I have to do to help my family. When black women declare they're doing what they have to do, it's for themselves.
yeah. It's never for the group. Never for the totality of the group, man. It's never for that.
Never
But then,
has.
but then, when you actually use your abilities to better someone else's life, it's rather thankless.
When I came to you and asked you to help me with these fundraisers, either on my channel or yours, I appreciate you and love you for the fact that you didn't blink. All you said was when.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. If people are down for you, you should be down for them.
Exactly.
There's something that we miss in our community that both black men and black women are equally guilty of. It's called loyalty.
Can you say that word again?
Called goddamn loyalty. We're both equally as wrong with that one.
Mm-hmm.
We show no loyalty to our friends, our family, our community, our neighborhoods, our country. We'll allow stupid shit to go on because we set up. It's
And
not my
on
business.
and on and on.
Yeah.
The one thing I miss about my old community on Peoria Street in Chicago, when I had an idea to like try to reprise a game show with we using just my throat to do sounds, they dug it. People were digging it. I just wish sometimes I had those big ass cards for card sharks sometimes.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. It's like they backed me up. Where is that now? When I'm trying to use what I have available to me, which is a microphone and a voice and a computer and a YouTube channel, not to mention affiliate sponsorships from Monkey Knife Fight and Fanatics.
Yeah.
Where's all that shit? Where are all these people now? This is what I began the show with and getting a lot off my chest. And I'm still getting it off my chest because it pisses me off. And I'm going to keep repeating this. It pisses me off to see these channels pop up out of nowhere with some content that should be censored. Cynthia G, I am looking directly at you with my sunglasses on because I don't want to hurt my goddamn eyes.
Sometimes you got to be the hero of your own narrative.
Yes.
As I said about the three things the black community don't give a damn about: black boys,
That's one.
education,
That's two.
and being the hero of your own narrative.
There's your triple play.
And
5, 4, 3 from third to second to first.
I mean, there is nothing more that I say that is detrimental. If you really want to look at the issues of our community, I just gave you three simplistic issues where even the PhDs of the Black Manosphere agreed, and they said you literally broke down our issues in one
Yep.
fell.
Yep.
You want somebody else to come. We have too much of this Messiah complex. Not the fact that we think we're the Messiah, is that we're expecting the Messiah.
Yes.
Who's better to save you than you?
Mm-hmm.
My father always said, God helps them who has his own.
Yep.
At least try.
Mahalia Jackson sung it perfectly. God bless the child who has his own. Well, I got a goddamn broadcast company. I have a kick-ass radio show, which I've expanded to video and finally learned how. And I'm using it to help my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using it to help my family. What's up? I'll repeat something Jody says to me on a daily basis, either aloud or in silence. Chase your dreams and catch them all, because I know you're going to help us when you do. She flat out told me, I want you to chase your dreams, and if you don't, I'm kicking your ass.
And that's support.
She's been my rock for 4 years. She's taken my silliness. We've been real with each other. Do you know how many racial conversations Joni and I have had in 4 years?
Probably plenty.
You know how many jokes Jody has made to me and I to her? I would use a big word and Jody would chime right in without even blinking and go, "You're a black man. You're not supposed to know that word." And I'd crack up laughing. Because from her, it's from a place of humor. And also from her, having taught at Indiana State for many years, she's seen the fucking melting pot. She's seen the goddamn melting pot. I mean, the place she works now, she's around a lot of black students. And they would say to her, "Oh, I'm a black man. You don't understand." Her retort is so simple. Honey, my husband's from the south side of Chicago and he's a black man. Next. If that ain't backup on top of backup on top of backup, if that's not anyone having your back, then I don't know what the hell is. She and I joke with each other at least 4 or 5 times a day, either via text message or via phone. But yet, when black women would say to me, "You're not supposed to know that word," that's from a place of hurt. And I know Victor can back me up on this. We worked in Linwood for 7 years together, doing summer baseball, where we've seen everyone. Doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter the creed. You damn right, Victor. Mr. Snow is shutting people down and shutting them up. She's all for an adventure, but she's all for speaking the truth also. There was one year, I want to say it was 2007, where we had the International World Series called COPA at Linwood. Victor and I were the only 2 announcers. Both of us are black. A team from Puerto Rico came in. What did my boss come to me and say? Can you hack a little Spanish? I haven't done it since 1990, but I can try. Good. You're taking Team Puerto Rico's games all weekend. Fuck. So what do? I bust out my phone and my laptop and look up every phrase that I could. This is what a lot of black women don't understand. When we're presented with situations,
We got to adapt and overcome, baby.
yes. When we're presented with problems, we don't complain about them. We solve them. Can I get a witness in this motherfucker? When we're presented with problems, we don't complain about them. We solve them. Like a judo chop from Ric Flair.
Yep.
Chop it down one at a time.
You got to remember, like that classic between that trilogy between him and Ricky Steamboat.
Yes, sir.
Now that's old school, man. That's when I was a kid.
Same.
You know,
Same.
just like that classic between the Great Mood and Arn Anderson, Sting versus Ric Flair.
Sting versus Flair. Blade Runner Sting, he was known as at the time.
Yeah. When we had the classic between Owen versus Brett and the steel cage at SummerSlam, which was a 5-star. We have the Stone Cold versus Bret Hart in the WrestleMania when it was the very classic and probably one of the few times in history you ever had a double turn. I mean, it's like that Stephen Bonner versus Forrest Griffin classic.
Yep.
It's
let me throw you a football reference. It's like Giants 49ers from the 80s.
Oh yeah, the Giants 49ers. It's like the Flacco to Jacoby.
Behind the Denver defense.
Behind the defense.
And what did Dan Dierdorf say? How do you allow a receiver to get behind you?
Yeah.
And at the time, Denver was protecting a 7-point lead with less than a minute to go. And 70 yards later, Flacco hits Jacoby Jones. 2 overtimes later, they kick the game winner and walk off.
And then guess where they went after that?
Super Bowl 47.
They went to Foxborough
and beat their ass.
And beat the brakes off of Brady.
Beat the fuck out of Tom Brady. 28-13.
And they went diddy bop into the Super Bowl.
And won.
And surprisingly, how do you put a guy who just came off the heels of beating Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and
Tom Brady.
he's the he's the underdog. We'll take it.
He was a 7-point underdog in that game.
We'll take it.
Oh, and
Oh my goodness.
I'm not supposed to remember the spread.
Oh yeah.
I'm
And
like,
by the way, let's talk about that classic boxing. You know,
oh,
when you had that first match between Sugar Ray and Tommy the Hitman Hearns going toe to
oh
toe.
man,
When you had the Thriller in Manila.
the Thriller in Manila, and that was the third one.
Yeah, that was
That was the third one, and
woo.
it wrecked the ring.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like whoever won that, when history would recognize as the greatest.
It's Steelers Cowboys from the 70s and 80s, and remember, the Steelers and Cowboys met twice in the Super Bowl inside of 4 years.
I remember.
Super Bowl 10 and Super Bowl 13.
It's like the Packers and Bears.
Oh, a rivalry like the Rams and the 49ers of recent times.
Oh yeah, the 49ers and the Cowboys.
49ers and the Cowboys. Doesn't matter the decade, the 80s or the 90s. When the 49ers and Cowboys got together, it was something else. And I got all three of those bitches from the 90s, 92, 93, and 94. Was I disappointed in the first two? Hell yeah, but the better team won.
I could go with the more modern recent ones like the Ravens and Steelers.
Ravens and Steelers.
Oh my God, that is in the last 10, 15 years.
That's a bloodbath.
You're going to war.
It was a war and a bloodbath, man. Moments where the Ravens would punch in a touchdown in the final seconds, and then you have Antonio Brown reaching over the goal line on Thanksgiving night to clinch a division. See, this is what the black men over the years, and especially today, the strong ones, since black women say there are no strong black men, let me prove you wrong right there. You know why you think there are no strong men? No strong black men? Cynthia G, Paris Milan? Because in 3 words, we move in silence.
Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to talk about the greatness.
Shit, we do. There's a start. We do. I'll throw a game show reference. Who the hell knew that on January 3rd, 1983, a game that was introduced on The Price is Right would become the most popular pricing game ever? And of course, I'm talking about Plinko.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want to play Plinko?
You have to have more faith in yourself than the world has combined.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get off of here, you're going to have to become the strongest version of yourself. Every day getting better. Every day learning more. Every day you taking it down.
Researching everything that you need.
Yes.
There's something black women don't want to do anymore. Research.
Every day becoming somebody special. Every day.
Every damn day. Every damn day. There it is.
Yep, every goddamn day.
Every goddamn day.
And now, before I get off of here, salute to the snowman.
Thank you.
Sometime this weekend, sometime this week, we got to plan something big and do another show for you. And you know how it's ended when you're on my show, I'm on your show. Woo!
I appreciate it.
Kiss Jody on the cheek and tell her the champ said hello.
I will. I will be that champion. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated.
My champion, my brother, my champion, my savior.
What's up?
What's up, Lock? And we out.
We're out. And I'm out too. A little pressure luck theme to close things up. Good night, y'all.